The market has shifted, and I'm getting calls from team leaders around the country who are frantic and not sure what to do. And I get it. I've been a team leader. I was team leading a group of people through the last recession in 2008, and times like this can definitely be challenging. But this video is my response, my proven battle plan for what to do in situations and times just like these. Hi, I'm Mikesh, and I share proven strategies and tools that I use to grow and scale my real estate business and become a top producer in my market. In this video, I'm going to share 5 simple steps that team leaders need and should take right now in order to be successful in this market. So number 1, your job as the leader is to cast the vision. And if you're in a situation right now where you're not growing, what do we say? If you're not growing, you're dying, and you may be slipping backwards in a production, you as the leader need to get a hold of that and be real about that and figure out what your growth plan is moving forward. Because if you do nothing, you're just gonna keep slipping, and the perception on your team is gonna be, hey, this ship is sinking and we need to go somewhere else. And you don't want that to happen, obviously. So you've gotta get out in front of it. You've gotta bring your team together. Hopefully you're doing weekly meetings, and I teach a whole structure on that. But you've gotta get in front of your people, and you've gotta say, okay, this is where we are, this is where the market is, but this is where we're going. And start to cast that vision for them. You've also got to double down on your efforts. There's probably some things that you're doing that quite frankly are a waste of your time and aren't yielding the results that you guys desperately need right now. So double down on your efforts on the things that are working and figure out what is going to be your niche as a company. What are you going to focus on moving forward? That focus could be prospecting related, it could be marketing related, it could be both. But you've got to get focused and double down on those efforts. Right now, it's a doubling of effort type of scenario, and you have to lead your people into that. And you've got to develop a plan. We use a tool called the Vision Traction Organizer, and I'll put a link below that'll give you access to one of those as a template. And this is part of the Traction series of tools that we run our business on, and I highly encourage you to take a look at. But this Vision Traction Organizer will help you set a new course with your people, and it will be a document that will be a living, breathing document that you can share with them as you're accomplishing this plan together. The second thing you got to do as the leader is you got to set the pace. When we think of, leadership and leaders of times past, a lot of time it was like these military leaders, these generals who got into battle with their people, and they went to war and they were on the front lines. Like right now, what I find works best is you getting into it with them. If you just talk at them and you're like, hey, you got to do more, you got to do better, you got to do this, you got to do that, they're going to feel separate from you. They're not going to feel like they're in it with you. And what I find works best as a leader is to really just dig in with them. So you got to reset the pace. You got to get in there. You got to help them make calls. You got to make calls with them. You got to say, hey guys, we're going to do a call night tonight, and you're going to be there making as many calls or more calls than anybody else. You've got to go on appointments with them. If you have a listing opportunity, let's say it's, double your market average, you can't afford not to get that listing as a company. So if it involves, you getting in and going on the appointment with them to secure that listing, show your people you have a whatever it takes mentality, and your people will develop a whatever it takes mentality. Get in there with them. And ultimately, this might not be ideal, it might not be what you want to hear, but you might have to go and take some listings of your own. You have to lead with production, and you have to work through this. And if you have to go and do a couple listings and work with them and get that, momentum going in your company in order to survive, the next months or few months ahead of you, then that's what you got to do. And when you start to have that kind of ownership over your business and you're willing to roll up your sleeves and get your hands dirty, it will do amazing things for the culture, and other people will do what you do, not what you say. The third thing that you need to do is you need to make it rain. And what I mean by make it rain is you have to obsess over lead generation. So if you don't know right now off the top of your head how many leads you generated for your entire team last month, you're not obsessing over it. You should know, hey, what's the lead flow volume? Where are we getting our leads from? Each lead source that I'm paying for, what's my return I'm getting from that? How many leads am I getting? Then once you get the leads, that's only step 1. You've got to manage the leads. That would be step 2. Making sure that those leads are going out to your agents properly, making sure that everybody's getting enough to be busy and be successful in your model. And then number 3, when it comes to leads, you got to manage the conversion. So is every agent treating every lead with their utmost importance? Is the process or system that you develop being followed on each and every lead that comes in? If it's not, then you're gonna have, just water falling through the cracks, slipping through your fingers. And this is not a market to allow that kind of waste. So the key word here is you have to obsess over this. If you're not obsessing over it, I promise you, you're wasting. So as the team leader, this is your job. This is what you have to do. You need to make sure that people are getting opportunities, that they're handling those opportunities well, and that they're converting them at what you would consider an acceptable conversion rate for your company or for that lead source. Number 4, you need to reframe the market realities. A lot of times we as leaders forget that we set the thermostat. We tell people like, hey, this is where it is, this is where we're going, this is the opportunity in it. And if you're just letting your people be absorbed by the news and the media and the market and the agents, at other companies and all this doom and gloom, you're not being a good leader. Like, you need to help them understand what are the market realities. What happened in the last 6 recessions that we went through? Did you guys know that in the last 6 recessions that we went through, market values only went down in 2 of those recessions? In the other 4, market values actually went up, believe it or not. Did you know that in the last 6 recessions, interest rates lowered, they went down? So we have an opportunity now in the market that we're going into. We can, pretty much expect that we can probably see some interest rate reductions here in the near future. This is what's happened in the last 6 recessions. You have to lead them. You have to show them where the opportunity is in a market like this. And that's reframing their market realities. And you should be doing this on a weekly basis as you get in front of people. And listen for those doubts. Listen for things that come up. You can sometimes tell when you're leading your people, if you're, say you have a group of 15 or less people and you're standing there talking to them, you can read the body language of individuals. If somebody has very cold body language and they don't seem to be listening and they're kind of like head down, not paying attention, pull that person aside one-on-one after the meeting. Say, hey, let's grab a cup of coffee. Let's talk about what's going on. Your body language in the meeting was horrible. Tell me what's up. Tell me what's going on. What's your challenges? That's what a leader does. They don't just sit back, wonder why their paychecks aren't as fat and do nothing about it. They step in and get involved. And that's what the market is demanding now of team leaders more than ever. And then the 5th and final thing that you have to do right now is manage expectations. The reality is the market isn't what it was last year. And a lot of people are down 50% or thereabouts. They're saying, hey, I should be 50% ahead right now from where I am, and I'm not. Okay, so you've got to use a tool that we call a sandwich. And a sandwich is just like, hey, here's the situation. We have an amazing opportunity ahead of us. The market is contracting. Most people are going to get out of the business. This is our time to shine. This is our time to demonstrate our skill to the marketplace. It's not just, hey, my neighbor's a realtor, I'm going to use them now. It's no, we're skilling up. We are the experts and we're going to lead people through this market. Then the meat of that sandwich is, but here's the reality, guys. Sales are down 50%. People are going to be fighting over those sales more. We're going to have to step our game up. We're going to have to step our activity up. And if we do that, guys, here's the other side of the sandwich. We are going to win, and we are going to win big. And we're going to not only take our market share during this difficult time, but when the market starts to go up again, which they always do, we'll be perfectly positioned to reap a harvest at that time. So the sandwich concept is this. There's something that's emotional, delicate, difficult that you need to communicate to them. You sandwich that difficult thing that you need to share with them on 2 positives. So, hey, here's the positive, here's the negative, and here's the positive, and let's go at this together. So that's redefining and managing their expectations. If their expectations are, hey, I'm just gonna keep my head buried in the sand and I'm gonna wait for this magical market that was last year to come back, they're gonna get hurt. They're not gonna make it through it. So you gotta manage those expectations with your people at all times. And that's one of the greatest jobs that we have as a leader, and something that you need to make sure that you're doing right now. If you'll do these 5 things that I just shared with you and do them well, you will start to turn the ship. You will start to get momentum. But it's gonna take a focus, it's gonna take commitment on your part, and you're probably gonna have to yourself do some things that are outside of your normal comfort zone, your normal wheelhouse, just like your agents are having to do as well. We're all gonna have to get uncomfortable in this market to make it through it, but for those that will and those that'll step up and rise to the challenge, you're gonna reap a harvest of just prosperity and goodness. And I built my last company really coming out of the recession. It was an opportunity zone for me because everybody else was like, oh my gosh, the sky's falling, it's all gonna end. And I was like, where is the opportunity in this? Then it was short sales and foreclosures. You've got to adjust to the current market realities. Inventory's low, Make sure that your offer game is on point so that you don't lose out on offers. Make sure that you're doing everything that's within your control to win those scenarios. Make sure that you're winning every listing that you have a chance to go on by doing all the things that you need to do to be a great listing agent, by pre-framing that appointment, preparing well for that appointment, showing up with a good presentation, all things that we teach here all the time. So if this video is helpful for you, I'm honored, I'm grateful. I want to help you through this. If there's anything I can do, grab a strategy call with me. Our link's below. I'd be happy to help you, kind of address what are your challenges? Like, what are you specifically going through? And how can we realign your company in a way that we can move forward positively together? That's what we do here each and every day, and I'd be happy and honored to help you with that as well. And the last thing I'll leave you with is this. Every day we either wake up and we're either a victim to our circumstances or we're a victor. And you get to make that decision each and every day.